So we'll be progressing to the agenda, which has been split into 5 sections, each having a different goal and objective to achieve with its knowledge transfer as shown on the screen. We want you to be able to walk away from each one in a much better position than you were in before you came into it. The first section is understanding hair loss. Here we will be diving into why it may be happening, the science behind it, the stage you may be in, and any other information that will be useful and key for you to understand the mechanics of hair loss, which we believe will be a solid foundation to build before you can proceed onto different types of treatments that will be the right ones for you. So, going into the subcategories, genetics and their impacts on hair loss. Age. An interesting and obvious part of hair loss, but has key information to go with it. Norwood scale, a system used to determine where you are with hair loss. Ethnicities, and how different ethnicities may experience hair loss. Ongoing research, looking at what interesting developments may come in future. Moving on to our next section, procedures. These are what we consider more direct solutions to hair loss. Here we will be covering hair transplants and the different types available, low laser therapy, platelet-rich plasma, scalp micropigmentation, hair pieces, and scalp reduction. All of these are different types of procedures that can directly combat the hair loss. But of course, while there may be great benefits to these, there are definitely some negative drawbacks that need to be identified and communicated too. I've personally been in a situation at a consultation that I went into with prior research knowledge on the procedure and was aware of the drawbacks involved. However, the consultant didn't necessarily explain all the dangers associated with this procedure. And it's a common issue that I and many others would have. They saw me purely as a financial sale to their business. This leads to many being convinced with going ahead and committing to a long-term procedure that can be expensive without being completely informed of what all the dangers are. This is why we stress the importance of the information and integrity that comes with this section so you can understand what's safe for you with each procedure, today and in future. To avoid being surprised at things like having to do the same procedure again a few years down the line, or having to commit to dangerous medication. The third section is over-the-counter. We look at any sort of product or medication that can be bought yourself. These are relatively easy access, and many of these are communicated online or through word of mouth as things that may benefit hair loss. However, there is much misinformation out there, and there are several others that are rarely discussed as having great benefits to hair loss too. We'll be looking at many different examples here, and have split these into the following subcategories: minoxidil, finasteride and other medications, shampoo and water, vitamins and minerals, essential oils, herbal supplements, and diet. There is so much information out there, and as mentioned in the introduction, there are several things you can do that will not only help hair loss, but your overall health too. This is covered in the next section, physical treatments. We look at what can be done to your scalp or body that can also help hair loss. We address derma rolling, sleep and the importance of it, combs, different types of combs that should be used depending on your hair texture, massaging, hairstyles, looking at what types of hairstyles can affect hair loss, and exercise. Finally, we'll have an overview where we'll be covering the following: the summary of everything we've discussed, other options available to you, mental well-being, covering the psychology behind hair loss and ensuring you're in a positive mental state. It's very easy to fall into a bad place, and we want to act as an ongoing support to you by doing the best we can to help here. So that covers our agenda and what we're going into, which will of course be in much more detail in each category. So with that being said, we can proceed to our first section, understanding hair loss.